For decades, fans believed Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash shared nothing but respect. But behind the smiling pictures and stage appearances, a darker story was brewing. Today, we reveal the hidden truth behind one of music's most surprising feuds, one that shaped country and rock in ways no one expected. A friendship born in smoke and applause. In the early 1960s, Bob Dylan was the rebellious poet of folk music, while Johnny Cash was the gravel-voiced outlaw of country. On paper, they couldn't be more different. But behind the scenes, a bond formed that shocked everyone. Dylan, still finding his voice, looked up to Cash as a legend. Cash admired Dylan's fearless lyrics and the way he challenged the system. They met backstage at the Newport Folk Festival in 1964. Dylan was 23, already rising fast. Cash, 10 years older, saw something in the young man's eyes, a storm, a voice ready to break walls. They talked about music, politics, and God. Cash even gave Dylan his guitar as a gift. That moment was more than symbolic. It was a passing of the torch. Their mutual respect spilled into their art. Dylan mentioned Cash in interviews, and Cash defended Dylan during the infamous electric controversy when Dylan plugged in a guitar and folk fans turned against him. When Dylan released Nashville Skyline in 1969, Cash invited him to his TV show and performed a duet with him. It looked like a brotherhood, the Nashville sessions that changed everything. In 1969, Bob Dylan arrived in Nashville to record Nashville Skyline, a soft, country-flavored album unlike anything he had done before. And guess who was there to greet him? Johnny Cash. Cash, already a giant in country music, felt proud that Dylan had come to his territory. He welcomed him with open arms, offering not just hospitality, but access to his inner circle. They recorded more than a dozen songs together during those sessions. From Girl from the North Country to unreleased tracks, it seemed like a musical partnership was being born. Cash even tried to get Dylan to join him for a full joint album. But Dylan was distant, careful. He didn't like to be tied down. He refused the joint album idea politely, saying he wanted to explore alone. That rejection stung. Cash didn't show it, but those close to him noticed a change. He felt slighted. In the music world, collaboration was respect. Dylan, intentionally or not, had drawn a line. Then came the TV moment. Dylan appeared on the Johnny Cash show in May 1969. It was supposed to be a celebration. But on set, things got tense. Dylan arrived late, gave no interviews, and acted aloof. Cash tried to joke and bring him into the moment, but Dylan stayed cool, even cold. Some thought he was shy. Others said he was being arrogant. Either way, Cash took it personally. By the 1970s, Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash had fully grown into icons of their own worlds. Dylan had become the reluctant prophet of a generation. Cash was still the man in black, singing for the forgotten. But fame didn't unite them, it divided them. Dylan's silence hurt Cash. They barely spoke after the Nashville Skyline days. When asked about Dylan, Cash would offer kind words, but there was a tension in his voice, like he was hiding disappointment. Dylan, on the other hand, moved on. He dabbled in gospel, dived into divorce, and kept reinventing himself. He didn't look back, even when friends like Cash waited for a call that never came. Privately, Cash complained that Dylan had become too high and mighty. He didn't like Dylan's unwillingness to commit to people. In Cash's world, loyalty meant everything. But Dylan lived in ideas, not in relationships. Musically, they grew apart. Dylan's lyrics became more cryptic, less personal. Cash stuck to storytelling and moral tales. The contrast became clear when Dylan refused to attend country music award shows where Cash was honored. Some say it was because Dylan didn't like the commercial scene. Others believed he didn't want to be in Cash's shadow. One story stands out. In 1975, Dylan was on his Rolling Thunder Revue tour. He passed through Tennessee and didn't inform Cash. Not even a visit. When June Carter Cash found out, she was furious. Bob forgot who helped him, she told a friend. That feeling echoed through Nashville. People started picking sides. To some, Dylan was the genius who outgrew everyone. To others, he was the selfish artist who used people and moved on. And Johnny Cash, though too proud to say it, felt used. Through the 1980s, both Dylan and Cash faced low points in their careers. Dylan's music lost its direction. Cash's records stopped selling. It was the perfect time for reconciliation, but it never happened. They saw each other only a few times, mostly at industry events. They exchanged polite words, but nothing deep. No talks about the past. No rekindled sessions. Just silence covered by public smiles. Cash wanted to reconnect. He even tried to include Dylan in one of his late 80s gospel albums. Dylan declined. Cash took it as another rejection. "He's gone too far to come back," he told someone close. Then came the rise of the Traveling Wilburys, Dylan's supergroup with George Harrison, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and Jeff Lynne. It felt like Dylan was forming new families, leaving old ones behind. Cash noticed. In 1993, when Cash started his comeback with producer Rick Rubin, there was talk of inviting Dylan for a duet. But Rick said Dylan was hard to reach, and the idea faded. Some said Dylan was haunted by too many goodbyes. Others said he didn't want to open old wounds. But the result was the same. The two legends never truly sat down again. In the late 1990s, as Johnny Cash's health declined, something unexpected happened. He wrote Bob Dylan a letter. No one knows the full contents, but parts of it have been quoted in books and interviews. It was handwritten, emotional, and deeply honest. Cash reportedly apologized for any resentment he had carried. He said he missed the early days and regretted how fame and silence had created a wall between them. "You were like a brother," one line read. "I just wish we had spoken more." Dylan responded, but in his own way, through music. In a 1997 interview, he briefly spoke about Cash's importance. "There's no one like him," he said. "He stood by me when no one else did." It wasn't a dramatic reunion, but it was a sign, a silent peace offering. When Cash died in 2003, Dylan didn't release a statement immediately. But months later, during a concert, he dedicated a song to Johnny. It was "Man in the Long Black Coat," a mysterious, ghostly tune. Fans knew what it meant. The circle had quietly closed. Later, Dylan shared in an interview that he used to carry Cash's letter in his guitar case. He said it reminded him of how fast time runs and how slow forgiveness can be. That small sentence revealed years of hidden pain and quiet understanding. The feud may never have been loud or public, but it was real. And in the end, there was something deeper than anger, regret.